Okay, so now for the inside of the card, which is these two squares right here. So I done my jars in black and white. So I did this part of it white and this part of it black. Okay, so I'll have to change my paper out in a minute to show you how this part works. So, but anyways, click on the square just like before and copy. Go to your new design page and we're going to do the same thing. If it isn't already that way, make sure it's on letter and that it's on landscape. All right, so right click, paste. And so just while we're designing it, I'm going to zoom in where you can see. All right, so you're going to want to do your font. So I click here, and you may know quicker ways of doing this stuff, but anyways, this is how I did it. And you can use whatever font you want to. I love the Magnolia Sky from dafont.com. So I'm going to use it. We want it to be centered. And so let me just do, it's huge right now. Happy Mother's Day. And I don't know what you guys want on yours, but maybe love. I'll just do it like this, like I did ours. Whoops. The ALC. Okay. So then, of course, I'm sure you know this process, or well, you might. I don't know. It'll let me click it. And so that everything is centered, I always click on this and then go over to the alignment and put it center page. And then click this one and do center page. I keep looking at my phone instead of the screen. That's confusing me. So, okay, so if you want the ALC to kind of line up with the heart, I wasn't able to get it perfectly, but you will have to make this part smaller down here. And then just space it. So I'm on the font and over here at line spacing, space it apart a little bit. And then give me just a second. I selected these two because I wanted them spaced a little bit apart more, and I am going to select this part and lessen the spacing just because of the way the layers are made. It doesn't need to be that far. And actually, I don't think that this is the font that I used, so I'm going to change it real quick. Yeah, that's it. It's called Autery, AUTERY. It's tiny, but it's also off of dafont.com. All right, so anyways, moving on Just make it bigger to fit. Stretch the letters out a little bit. And then on this part, let's put an extra space in here so that we hopefully can get it to where the ALC part lines up in the heart. Just like that. All right, so I want this part to be sketched, the outer part to be cut. So select your lettering again and highlight it and go over here to the line settings and print lines. Okay. And you'll see that when you click on the actual square, that isn't highlighted because we want that part to be cut. All right. Then we don't want all those little in-between cut lines in there, so I'm going to select it and right-click, weld. And it doesn't look any different, but if you're doing actual vinyl, you always want to do that. I'm pretty sure that you know that already, but anyways. All right, so there's the card. So then you want to select it all and go up to Object and hit Group so that it makes it all one setting. It's made. No changes can be made to it. So anytime you have anything and it's different things together, you can select it and go back up there to Object and go to Ungroup, and then you can make changes to the separate parts. Otherwise, with it grouped like this, you're not going to be able to do anything else to it as far as the font separate from the box, okay? So then we will select it and let's move it. I'm zoomed in. Let me zoom out. Move it up here. And do the same thing as before. Go over to the copy thing. And you can do the fill page one, but it spaces everything out real far, and that's okay, I guess. But I tightened mine all up and then duplicated so I had another row. So if you do that, you'll just select this whole row. Then it doesn't waste paper, and you can print more at once. So select it all and move it up. Select it all and move it up. Okay. And then I just select one of them and do duplicate down. All right. And then spin it sideways so we can fit some more in here. And then move it up in there. I hope you can see all this and then making sense. But anyway, all right, so then do the same thing, duplicate right. All right, that's all we'll be able to fit. And I will email this. I'll save this and email it to you too, in case you want to use it. And if not, you could always take it and delete everything except for one and ungroup it and then edit what you want it to say and then duplicate it back out again. Okay, so now you know what, I'm sorry, Crystal, we gotta undo this. So if you were going to edit it, you would have to do this. Select it all right here and delete. Select all, delete. All right, I'm sorry. So I want to make a change here. So I'm going to have to go here, go to Object, Ungroup, because I need to make a change here. So the font, I'm going to select and go over to the color wheel and not the color wheel, I'm sorry, the line setting. And it'll say this one is for the actual line settings, this one's for the line color, and we're just going to go to blue because we need it to be set apart from the cutting, if that makes sense. Alright, so I didn't realize I didn't have it on the whole screen, but you can see now the cut line is red, the sketch marks are blue. So same thing. Now we're going to group it all back together. You can do Control G and it'll do it. And then select, fill page. And for the sake of time, I'm just going to leave it like this. All right. So now you're going to go to send, and it's going to look like this. Now, this has been a trial and error thing for me, so you or Andrew may figure it out differently or whatever, but you'll see on here it has the red circle and the blue circle. So your red circle right here, tool 1, is going to be your cut, all right? And we only want it to cut the outer edge, okay? So cut edge. Whoop, I got it clicked off, I'm sorry. Go down here to tool 2. It is also going to be plain cardstock, and hey Dylan, it's going to be plain cardstock. We're going to go to sketch and sketch pen and sketch. Hopefully I can get this to work. Hold on, Dylan. And again, trial and error, so I'm going back to design and I'm going to ungroup all this because I shouldn't have it grouped together. So back to send. I'm sorry. Sketch. And you can go up here to line. Alright, so once you get that set, in here, your tool, sketch pen, sketch cardstock, and then AutoBlade cut cardstock. Just like before, we're cutting cardstock, so the force on the cutting does not need to be where it usually puts it, and it'll put it on 20, and you do not need it that high, so go back down to like 13. And then this one is fine. Alright, go up here to line, and this says cutting up here in the red tool, and that's where our cutting tool is. So you keep that one red. Our sketch pen's going to be in the blue tool. Okay? So then you got to go over here to sketch. Whoops. And we're going to use the sketch pen. Okay? And all of this will automatically set. You want both of these to be checked because you want it to do both jobs, and then click on the top line. Alright? So now, next thing. Let me unload this. Sorry. I'm going to set the phone down for a second. Maybe, possibly, you'll be able to see what I'm doing. Actually, I'm going to take this white off. You can see if you leave that setting on too far how it starts cutting into your vinyl. But I made a bunch of them, so it's looking rough. I've already had to get a new one. And then I went off the page on this one because I didn't change my paper size. So this is what'll happen. Alright, so if you don't want to do black and white, you don't have to. You can do any other color. Sorry. Again, put your cardstock on. Give me just a second. Oh, I did it stuck on here. Alright, so I've got it on there. And I'm going to load it up. Sorry. Alright, then I am assuming that you have a pack of these that came with your machine, hopefully. If you don't, you will have to go to like Hobby Lobby or something and buy the Silhouette pen holders, which this is awesome because it will hold anything that you can write with. A Sharpie marker, ink pens, whatever. Because I actually used this white gel pen, and you just put it in there and load it. If you have one and you need to know how to use it or whatever, just let me know. So, but anyways, I'm going to set it for this white Silhouette pen. Alright, so just push it all the way down in there and click it in. Alright, and we are ready to go. Alright, so your pen will be in your blue one. Your blade should already be in the red one. Okay, so we're still on this line setting. You can see it, I'm sorry. And before you test it, make sure that your first one isn't up here in the corner because it's going to test it in the corner. Alright, so you can click on the red circle and hit test. I'm sure you've done this before. You just want to make sure that it's not cutting too deep or not deep enough, which if it cuts too deep, that's better than not enough because you don't have to go back over it. And so I know that mine is set right, the square is. So then click on the blue circle, which is our pen, and hit test. And it's going to draw the little square, as you can see.